Hello, welcome to our Administrators in Training workshop and seminar. Meet our two professionals, Miss Kamish Samuel, Miss Rhea Lewis, Miss Lakeisha Patterson, Miss Hannah Wilby, and Mrs. Sanara Henry Foy.
To you all, fellow administrators in training. We are indeed grateful that you have gathered here today with us as we enlighten you about your roles and responsibilities in the early childhood setting. Early childhood education is essential to young children's development and it should not be taken lightly. And the role you will assume will directly and indirectly impact these children. Early childhood educators must prioritize several crucial areas, including efficient supervision, decision-making, conflict resolution, and working with families.
Supervision in the context of early childhood settings refers to the systematic and purposeful oversight of children by trained adults to ensure their safety, well-being, and development. It involves a continuous observation, guidance, and support provided to children during various activities and routines within an early childhood environment. One model used by administrators is the reflective supervision model. This model places a strong emphasis on creating a safe and non-judgmental space where administrators and educators engage in thoughtful conversations about their experiences, challenges, and successes. It is a process where both parties reflect on their actions, reactions, and the impact on the learning environment. The goal is to deepen understanding, enhance teaching practices, and ultimately improve the quality of care and education provided to young children. This model encourages administrators to actively listen, ask probing questions, and guide educators in exploring alternative perspectives. One real-world example of reflective supervision. Consider a scenario where a teacher is struggling with managing disruptive behavior in the classroom. In a reflective supervision session, the administrator and teacher engage in a dialogue to explore the root causes of the behavior, analyze the teacher's responses, and brainstorm alternative strategies. Through this reflective process, the teacher gains valuable insights, feels supported, and develops a more effective approach to address challenging behaviors in the future. The importance of planning in reflective supervision. It's good to have structured sessions. Scheduling regular meetings creates a predictable and supportive structure for educators, fostering a sense of routine and reliability. Time allocation. Planning ensures that sufficient time is allocated for each session, allowing for in-depth discussions without rushing. This time commitment reflects the importance placed on the reflective process and underscores its value in professional development. It's also good to have clear communication channels. Establishing expectations. Administrators outline the purpose of the sessions, the topics for the sessions, and any preparation educators should undertake. This clarity promotes engagement and active participation. Feedback framework. Planning includes defining a feedback framework that encourages constructive dialogue. It is also good to have integration with professional development. Alignment with goals. By integrating reflective sessions into the overall professional development plan, administrators can address specific learning objectives and tailor discussions to meet the evolving needs of the educators. Coordinated approach. Planning involves linking reflective practices to broader training initiatives, creating a seamless continuum of learning and improvement.
Welcome administrators to our training. What is decision making? In an early childhood context, decision-making pertains to the process of making decisions and acting in ways that impacts young children's education, development, and well-being. Making decisions in an early childhood setting is essential to giving children a secure, supportive, and productive learning environment. Administrators, you make decisions daily. An approach that you can use to carry out decision-making roles and responsibilities in the early childhood setting is the vroom-return decision model. A series of yes or no questions on your decision scenario is part of the vroom-return model. As you go through the tree's branches, based on your responses, you will eventually come upon a letter for one of the 5 decision-making types. The model describes 5 different decision-making processes. You have the autocratic one, or the A1, where the administrator uses the information he or she already has to make decision, without any input from his team. You have the autocratic 2, or the A2, where the administrator makes the final decision, but after getting additional information from his or her team. You have the consultative 1, or the C1, where the administrator consults with each member of his or her group separately and informs them of the situation, then makes a decision based on his or her judgment and the input from the members. You have the consultative 2, or the C2, where the administrator consults with his group members collectively about the issue and then decides based on his or her judgment and the input from the others. And then you have the collaborative, or the C2, where the administrator works with his or her team to come to the consensus. A real-world example where decision-making roles and responsibilities might appear is when the administrator consults with the whole staff to decide on the curriculum and program structure that will best meet the developmental needs of the children. The administrator will act as the facilitator, and they will all bring their ideas and come to a consensus. Planning is important in decision-making. Goals and objectives are defined and made clearer with the use of planning. Making decisions that are in line with your goals is made simpler when you have a clear idea of what you want to accomplish. Also, planning enables you to manage your time efficiently, setting priorities and allocating sufficient time for you to make sound decisions.
Conflict resolution in the early childhood setting. Conflicts arise in many organizations. Future administrators, you will be responsible for deriving conflict resolution strategies to deal with these conflicts. Conflict is a difference in opinion or disagreement that can harm an organization. Ron Kilo 2023. According to Laraski and Rajari 2019, conflict resolution is the process of devising conflict strategies and implementing them to control the conflict or to get a desired outcome. The Thomas Kilman management model is one model that can be used by administrators in carrying out conflict resolution. Kenneth Thomas and Ralph Kilman studied conflict in the workplace, and they observed the methods used to resolve the conflicts. This method identifies 2 dimensions when choosing a course of action in a situation. They are assertiveness and cooperativeness. Assertiveness in the relation in this model is where an individual tries to satisfy their own concerns, while cooperativeness is where an individual tries to resolve the concerns of others. Ortega, Villa, and Lugo Machado 2022. Within the Thomas Kilman model, the 5 strategies and dimensions are avoiding. This is where the conflict is ignored completely, and it is low on both assertiveness and cooperativeness. 2, accommodating. This is satisfying one party's concern at the expense of another. This is low in assertiveness and high in cooperativeness. Compromising is deriving an acceptable settlement or middle ground that partially satisfies both parties. It is moderating both assertiveness and cooperativeness. Competing, this is where an individual only focuses on their own concern at the expense of others. This is high in assertiveness and low in cooperativeness. And collaborating, this is working together to derive a common solution that satisfies both parties' concern, and it is high in assertiveness and cooperativeness. Now, a real life example is where a practitioner comes to school and she's unfocused and she does not engage with children despite being told of her job roles and responsibilities, probably by another practitioner. She still does not do it. Now, this might cause the other practitioner to feel frustrated and angry, and hence conflict might arise. Another example is a parent-teacher conflict where a child goes home and tells the parent that the teacher would have removed them from among the other children. They didn't explain that they were being disruptive. The parent comes to school and is in she does not agree with the teacher method of discipline, and a conflict arises. You as the administrator would have a responsibility to speak to both parties and be the mediator. Planning for conflict resolution is important because when conflict resolutions are in place, it helps to unite people and it aids in building strong relationships. It also helps to enhance commitment towards the organization. It helps employees to be focused on the goal or the mission of the center, and it also helps to improve retention because when conflict are resolved, it helps employees are then satisfied, and it helps you as the administrator to keep qualified and skilled individuals because they would not be angry and disgruntled and look for another place of employment.
Working with families. Working with families means building a positive and respectful relationship with families of children in the school and collaborating with them to support children learning and development. It involves understanding and respecting the diversity of families and their culture, values, beliefs, and practices. It also involves providing various opportunities and activity for a family to be involved in the school and to support their children learning at home and in the community. One model used by an administrator in carrying out the role and responsibility. This framework is based on a dual capacity building framework for a family-school partnership developed by Karen Mobb and her colleague at the Auburn Graduate School of Education. It is a model that aims to enhance the capacity of both educators and families to engage in effective partnership that supports children learning and development. This framework outlines 4 levels of family engagement: informing, consulting, collaboration, and empowerment. A real-world example with working with family. Creating an environment for family. A preschool teacher greets each family by name and in their preferred language. As they arrive at school, she invites them to sit on a comfortable chair to chat with her about the child's day. She also shows them the signs and labels in the classroom that reflects the language and culture of the family in the school. Another way is that they can provide many ways for a family to engage in school and in their children learning. The teacher can organize a family fun day where she invites the extended family and friends of the children to visit the classroom and participate in various activities. Here she can also send home various learning activities like books, games, activity related to team curriculum are the topic for the family to do at home with children. Let's take a look at planning. All planning is important. Planning is important when working with family in the early childhood environment. It can support the learning and development of children and adults, foster positive relationships, and
So, we would like to thank each and every one of you for participating in today's Administrators in Training workshop. Early childhood administration is a difficult and complex profession and calls on a variety of abilities. As potential administrators, it is imperative that you ensure that there is effective supervision, quality decision making, conflict resolution strategies, and available programs to work with families in place as they all play a vital role in the success of your early childhood center. This dramatization centers on a fictional incident that strains the relationship between a teacher and a parent, emphasizing the administrator's responsibility to apply the collaborative problem-solving method to resolve the conflict.
Thank you for coming to the show. Well, I am so glad to see, as I have a serious problem with Max not doing his homework.
Really? And every time I ask, he says he never has homework. Every single day I ask him, this boy, if he has homework.
Well, Mommy, no matter what homework I give him, he never does any.
Thank you, miss. Now I don't know what to do.
I wonder we could have caused this. Look at what is happening in this chat here. Parent cussing teacher.
Good day, Miss Peterson. I call this meeting here today because I'm a bit concerned about what transpired last evening in the class chat. Normally, when parents have an issue with the teacher, this is the forum that they use. They come to the school and voice their concern. So in order to resolve this conflict, I am going to use the problem-solving method where I would act as the mediator between the both of you by listening to your concerns, and then we can come up with a solution that is in the best interest for everyone involved. So, Mrs. Peterson, I just want to know what really happened to cause your reaction like that last night?
To be honest, Madam Principal, when I spoke to Max's teacher and she told me about him not doing his homework, I felt offended because it made me feel as a parent that I was careless because I know he has homework and I'm not letting him do anything.
Okay. And Miss Johnson, what about you? How did that make you feel?
Well, I was really shocked to see Miss Peterson happily cussing me when it seemed like the matter was dealt with. This woman left her calmly. I honestly believe that she expected the other parents to join her.
So, clearly, Miss Peterson, the way you went about doing that and blowing your emotions out of control wasn't right at all. We have to be very careful and very mindful of how we deal with our emotions. So, how do you feel?
I feel bad about it. I should have went about it a different way, but I was angry when I went in.
Okay, I understand. So, now, we have to come to a solution. So, Miss Peterson, what do you suggest that we do now to avoid this issue ever happening again?
Well, what Max's teacher can do, she can send his homework into the group whenever she gives homework, so that way now there won't be a miscommunication between us when it comes to his homework.
Okay. And Miss Johnson, is that something that you could do?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I am glad that this matter can be resolved quickly as we all work together for the betterment of our children here at the institution. So thank you again for coming, and remember the role that we're going to go down the next time you have another issue. Alright, so thanks again for coming.